Good evening, everybody. I've been studying this drill music scene over in Chicago because his death, FBG's death, brought this drill music to my attention. I saw several podcasts reporting about his death, and I just started digging, which I usually do. When I see those things happen, I did it with Pop Smoke, Triple X Tentacion, a couple of other young men, young rappers that have passed away recently. But this one here just led me down a rabbit hole of Chirac. We've all been hearing about Chicago and all of the murders, but I didn't have the details. I didn't ever think to look into the details. But after FBG Duck's death, I started looking into the details and watching the videos, and I've noticed so many things that's so disturbing. And I wanted to run it by y'all because I know a lot of people is not like me. Like some young kid died again, okay, whatever. But this is deeper than that. I'm watching the videos, and it seems as if they make all of their songs is based on the war that they're having between the gangs. And this is public knowledge. It's all over the place. There's a whole bunch of commentators talking about it from all different walks of life. It's not a secret. And they make these songs when one gang kills another person in the gang, and they make these songs. And they go at each other, and they talk about what was done to the person if they were killed. They talk about that, how he was killed. They shot this nigga 4 times in the face. They mock each other's deaths. So I'm watching FBG Duck, and I watched a couple of his interviews, and I noticed that out of all of them, because I didn't only watch Duck, I watched a few different stories. And I noticed that out of all of them, he stood out to me because it seems like he really didn't want to do this anymore. It started out as something that he was doing as a young child. He started out in 2011. But as the progression began, as he got older, I could see that he started to realize what was being done to them, that they were being tricked and fooled into knocking each other off. So as I'm watching these videos, there was a video where a Chicago resident was saying that 2 crates were found in one of the urban neighborhoods where all this gang activity is going on, full of weaponry, full of weapons. If you look at these videos, you see the type of guns they have with infrared beams, all type of lights, nocturnal equipment, that way you can see in the dark, high technology weapons, okay? These are not just a Glock and a 9mm, and no, these are high technology weapons here, okay? And I say to myself, like, where did they get all this artillery from? Where did they get all of these guns? So 2 and 2 started going together, and it took me back to New York City, because it's like New York City in the crack era. That's how it is over there, without the money, okay? And I'm looking at I started to think about Brownsville, how in Brownsville in 1992, there was a truck parked over there in one of the areas in Brownsville with a whole truck full of guns and artillery and bullets, okay? So it seems as if state by state, these epidemics happen. Now they're saying it's Philly, Chicago. It's jumping around now through through this drill music because everybody wants to be like these guys in Chicago. The spotlight is on them now. The spotlight moves every once in a while. Atlanta, Philly, the spotlight moves in hip hop. So now it's on them. And then when they get into the story, when they get into the details, they recognize that it's gang activity And now everyone wants to mimic them, which is why I think the numbers are going up with these murders in almost every city, every major city: New York, Philly, Chicago, Atlanta, a couple of other places that I can't think of right now. Even Minnesota, those type of places. The numbers are going up. But I noticed about this guy who was one of the big artists in drill music and is credited to really like having it to be spread out, that he no longer wanted to dedicate himself to doing these diss songs and talking about the dead and participating in this war, because I saw him extend the olive branch in some of his interviews more than once, even speaking on children being killed and how horrific that is in the midst of their wars, and how when he sees an opposition, which they call ops, when he sees a rival gang member and they're with their children, that he would not do anything to them, that the person didn't even know that they saw, that him and his peoples saw the person because they were with their children. They just kept going. But I never seen anybody else talking like this. He even went so far as to make a song giving props to all the fallen people, even if they were on the opposing side, if they were an op. So I saw the olive branches this young man was extending, and I feel like if he would have had some more time and to grow into his manhood, he would have been a major fixture in bringing these gangs to some sort of peaceful understanding. It's so sad. I can't even explain to you in a conversation how horrific this is. It's like terrorism. The kids are scared to go to school. The parents are scared to send their children to school. These murders are happening in restaurants, gas stations, anywhere that they see the person. There's no regard for life. And it's like a freaking scary movie. I got so sucked into it for the past week that it just was breaking my heart to the core to see these young kings, these young babies, murdering each other left and right. They even said after one of them, one popular drill rapper, Little JoJo, was murdered, there was approximately 500 murders after that. Did you hear me? I said 500. There's hundreds of people being murdered over there during the course of this war, which is senseless. What is there to gain? There's nothing to gain from this. And seeing him reach out and going so far as to make a song where everyone can hear him not dissing his ops, but giving props to his ops, all the people who passed away, the major figures. And then to be attacked even after that and forced into making another diss song, which he promised that he wouldn't do anymore. He didn't want to do it. But there was no one else who was willing to extend the olive branch and say, come on, let's sit down and let's talk about this like men. Because the real ops is just sitting back watching y'all do what they want to be done, knocking each other off. So when will it end? Will now someone come and try to get retribution for a duck being killed? It's like watching The Wire. But these are real lives here being taken and lost, valuable lives. We have a tendency to disassociate ourselves from our own people, and we could try to do that all we want to, but we are always going to be connected. That's nature. We're connected by nature. So what are we going to do about this? Are we just going to sit back and just keep watching it? Or are we going to just drop little things here and there? There's not really much we can do. We're limited, but bringing attention to the fact that making them more conscious of what they're doing in any forum available is necessary because they're not thinking for themselves and they don't have any leadership or guidance because most of them that could grow into their manhood and say this is wrong don't even get a chance to do so because they're getting cut down 16, 17, 18, 19. They consider you an OG if you live past 25 over there. So this is like a nightmare because I don't know any of them personally. I wasn't listening to none of this before FBG Duck got killed. I had no idea who they were. But after he was killed and I decided to do my research and I saw the severity of this, I felt compelled to say something about it because I don't think my generation really understands the ramifications of this being allowed. Now, not only that they're killing each other, but they get on these social media platforms and taunt each other and talk about the bodies they have and threaten each other, and nobody's being arrested. So, to me, that means that they are allowing this to happen, which is fine. We already know they want us dead. We should know this by now. But for us now to sit back and not say anything to these children and not say anything about these children knocking each other off and bringing awareness to it, well, we're just as bad because we should care. Pop Smoke was dipping and dabbing in the drill music scene as well. This is the new rampage in hip hop. You're making songs, you taunt each other until somebody is dead. I didn't see Pop Smoke going as far as the people in Chicago, but they consider this to be New York City drill type of music. And just when Pop Smoke was getting ready to blow up, he was killed. Just when FBG Duck was getting ready to come into his own and become he's very, very intelligent. His interviews really floored me, the way he carried himself. Very intelligent young man, and you could tell that he would sit down and think about all of this stuff that's going on in his immediate circle, all the people he lost. He lost a lot of people, cousins, brother. His sister was killed in a fire when she was a baby. He had twin sisters. One of them died. His mother lost 3 children, 2 to violence, 1 in a fire. This is trauma. This is PTSD going on here. So I'm just amazed. I just wanted to share that with y'all because I know not many people are as inquisitive as me. Like once I start researching something, I really start digging into it. And this one really, really hurt me when I went down this rabbit hole in Chirac, which is what they call it, because it's a war zone. They don't have any OGs really to talk to them because anybody that could have become an OG and turn around and warn them about the lifestyle that they're leading is no longer here or locked up. So they're basically leading themselves. They've been abandoned to be on their own. You don't know really too much when you're in your 20s like that and everybody's just trying to impress each other. All borderlines are crossed because they really don't know about boundaries and consequences. They don't think about that. They live in the moment. So I'm really, really sorry to see this happening to the youth over there in Chicago and slowly spreading into other states Because it's terrorism. Those adults are being terrorized, young children are being terrorized and murdered in crossfires. It's like watching an episode, it's like watching a TV show, like with The Wire. It reminds me of The Wire. And this young guy, his cadence and his thoughtfulness, the way he thought, the way he spoke, yeah, he probably was with the shit, but you could tell he really, really didn't want to be in the shit anymore. And he wasn't allowed to get out of it. He didn't think to leave Chicago. He was comfortable in Chicago. Chicago was all that he knew. And it's sad and it's a waste. Because I really think he would have been able to spearhead the peace movement over there in Chicago with these gangs. I think he had that much intelligence and that much clout, as he called himself, Big Clout. Put me to mind of Biggie with his swag and the way he carried himself in his old soul. That's not something that's made up. That's something that you're born with. And we have to remember, Malcolm X at a young age was a pimp and doing drugs and selling drugs. So what if he never got to live past the age of 25? So I just wanted to talk about that, and rest in peace to this young king, R.I.P. FBG Duck, and everyone else that has been lost over there in this programmed war that's taking place in Chicago. Blessings to all of you, and hopefully there'll be a turn, and someone can get through to these young kings for them to stop killing each other. Peace and love.